I want you to imagine just for a second that you are sitting at a lavish, highly produced media dinner.
Okay, setting the scene.
Yeah, so the lighting is immaculate, the table is beautifully set, and there are about, I don't know, 20 or so of your industry peers sitting right around you.
Right, sounds like a pretty standard influencer event so far.
Exactly. But then the cameras start rolling, and the brand hosting you instructs everyone to close their eyes for a big reveal. The anticipation is just building in the room.
Oh, I can already feel where this is going.
Right. So they finally say, open your eyes. You look down, and every single person at that table has received a luxury Louis Vuitton gift, except for you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the stomach drop in that scenario is practically universal. You can just visualize the sheer panic
Ah,
of trying to figure out like what to do with your face.
totally. And that specific awful feeling is exactly what we are dissecting today. We're digging into an incredible stack of sources for this deep dive.
We really are. We've got a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, we have this comprehensive academic analysis titled Crisis at the Table. We've got actual, forensic level internet sleuthing from the Rage in American Myth Snark subreddit, plus some great industry commentary from the pop culture show Do We Know Them, and a Grazia piece on authentic luxury event logistics.
It's such a wild mix of sources. We are basically blending high-level sociological theory with incredibly raw, real-time internet fallout.
Exactly. And our mission today isn't just to recap some viral internet drama. I mean, we are using this missing bag as a microscope, really.
Mm-hmm.
We want to understand the fragility of the social contract in the influencer economy, the evolutionary psychology behind why social exclusion physically hurts, and, what happens when a brand tries to fake legacy luxury and just spectacularly backfires.
Because on the surface, I think a lot of people just see a story about an influencer complaining about a free bag.
Right. Oh, totally.
But structurally, this is actually a master class in the shifting power balance between huge corporations and individual creators.
Okay, let's unpack this and lay out the base reality first. The brand in question here is Cleardea. They're a K-beauty brand, and they're hosting this media dinner as part of a big North American market push.
You're doing pop-ups everywhere, right? Like New York, Toronto, LA.
Yeah, exactly. And among the invitees is a content creator named Mitchie, who goes by the handle at Melon. So the dinner wraps up around 11:00 p.m., and by 1 a.m., Mitchie is already in her bedroom posting a video where she says she felt, and this is a quote, humbled and humiliated.
Wow. 2 hours later. And she explains in the video that she was the only person singled out at this massive table. And honestly, the context makes this infinitely worse.
Oh, absolutely it does.
Because the brand had a professional film crew stationed there, specifically to capture these synchronized, euphoric reactions of everyone opening their Louis Vuitton passport pouches.
Right, so Mitchie had to sit there completely empty-handed while a literal camera lens was pointed right at her.
It's agonizing just thinking about it.
And she actually asked the brand team immediately after the reveal if it was just a mistake. Like maybe they just forgot one. And their response was just this nonchalant, don't worry.
Great, just don't worry, that's it.
Yeah, no quick fix, no pulling her aside to apologize profusely, just don't worry. The hosts of the Do We Know Them show spent a lot of time on this specific detail because, well, it transforms a simple oversight into a public spectacle.
What's fascinating here is that what we're looking at is a forced performance under duress, which really brings up the sociological concept of emotional labor.
Right, we hear that term tossed around a lot.
We do use it casually all the time, but sociologically speaking, emotional labor is the actual effort required to manage your own feelings and expressions just to fulfill the social expectations of your job.
Okay, yeah. Think about it like the last time you had to plaster on a fake smile through a completely miserable office holiday party just because your boss was watching you.
Exactly that.
Now, take that pressure, multiply it by 1 million followers, and add professional lighting. That is the emotional labor we're talking about here. The literal job of a creator is to project aspiration, joy, and gratitude. She was essentially taken hostage by her own job description.
That analogy hits the nail on the head. When Mitchie realized she was excluded, her nervous system's natural reaction is embarrassment. It's a confusion, it's hurt.
Of course.
But because she's a professional in a room full of her peers and these brand executives, she has to suppress that authentic reaction. She has to perform the brand's desired emotion. She is basically subsidizing their logistical failure with her own psychological energy.
Which is just exhausting. But, why does a missing gift pouch trigger such an intense emotional response in the first place? Because on paper, it's just a leather good.
Right. To understand that intensity, we have to look at evolutionary psychology. The research analysis we have notes that social exclusion activates the exact same neural pathways in the human brain, specifically the anterior cingulate cortex, as physical pain.
Wait, the same pathways as actual physical pain?
Exactly.
Ah.
Because our brains evolved in small tribes, right?
Right.
Being cast out of the group literally meant starvation and death back then. The brain doesn't differentiate between I am being kicked out of the tribe and I am the only one at this table without a Louis Vuitton bag. It just signals extreme danger.
Oh, wow. So her brain is just ringing alarm bells. She's trying to smile through it for the cameras. And the brand's response of, don't worry, completely dismisses all that distress. It makes total sense why she went home and fired up her camera at 1 a.m. She wanted to reclaim the narrative. But as we know, the internet is a deeply chaotic place, and a massive counter-narrative emerged almost immediately.
Yeah, the situation really inverted when another creator, Grace Ann Ryu, posted her own video, and she was visibly crying in it, vehemently defending Cleardea.
Which brought a whole new element into this.
It did. She introduced what the internet quickly dubbed the metal box theory to explain the whole missing bag situation.
Okay, yeah. So Grace claimed the creators were instructed by the brand to place a specific metal box in front of them and a table, and this box was supposed to serve as a visual marker for the event staff.
Because the staff were supposedly creeping around in the dark, right?
Yeah, exactly. They were sneaking around to place the Louis Vuitton gifts on top of the boxes while everyone had their eyes closed. So Grace's argument is that Mitchie simply didn't follow the instructions. She didn't put the box in front of her, so the staff literally just walked right past her.
Grace also claimed that the brand offered to ship Mitchie the gift immediately upon realizing the error. So her video completely reframes the event.
It really does.
It shifts the archetype from this malicious exclusion of a creator to, well, an entitled influencer trying to destroy a small Asian-owned business. She heavily emphasized that Cleardea only had 3 employees on site, and they were battling a language barrier.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though, because I don't buy that defense at all.
Really? Why not?
Even if we accept the metal box theory, you're telling me a team of 3 people couldn't just use a clipboard or like a seating chart. Why rely on the guests to place a marker in a dark room?
That is a very fair point.
Right. That sounds less like a language barrier and way more like a convenient excuse for incredibly cheap, lazy logistics.
Well, you've zeroed in on the exact mechanical flaw. From an event management perspective, this metal box system is a reactive distribution method.
Okay. Meaning what exactly?
Meaning, in a highly stimulating environment with alcohol, socializing, and film crews, relying on an active step from the guest to trigger your luxury gifting is inherently prone to catastrophic failure. There is zero logistical redundancy.
Wow. So if the brand's entire PR strategy relies on a guest remembering to put a tin box next to their water glass, they're basically playing Russian roulette with their reputation.
Exactly. And beyond the logistics, the crisis management analysis points out a deeper failure here. Let's just say it was a genuine, honest mistake caused by an overwhelmed staff.
Sure, let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
Right. A lack of redundancy might explain how the bog was missed, but it absolutely does not excuse the brand from failing to intervene during the event. Letting a guest sit empty-handed while a film crew captures her humiliation is an unforgivable breach of hospitality.
And Cleardea's handling of the aftermath somehow made the initial mistake look brilliant by comparison. The sources show they completely missed what PR experts call the golden hour.
Oh yeah, they completely dropped the ball.
Mitchie's video went up at 1 a.m. She basically owned the entire narrative before the brand's social media manager even poured their morning coffee.
And when a brand leaves a narrative vacuum like that, the internet will inevitably fill it with chaos. And Cleardea's delayed reaction was heavily fragmented.
It was a mess.
The Reddit threads documented the brand posting and rapidly deleting 3 different explanations, and apparently some of them read like they were literally generated by ChatGPT.
Oh, I remember that. One of the deleted comments claimed a gift was found in a backpack, which immediately spawned these wild conspiracy theories that a staff member tried to steal one of the bags and just hoped nobody would notice.
Which is wild.
And on top of that, the brand was sending private defensive DMs to individual commenters instead of just issuing one unified, authoritative statement to the public.
So because the official channels completely collapsed, The digital community decided to investigate the truth themselves.
Yeah.
And that's when we saw the formation of this digital tribunal.
And the investigative work done by the Asian American at Snark subreddit is literal FBI-level forensic auditing. I mean, they weren't satisfied with Mitchie's story, and they weren't buying Grace's crying video either.
They wanted hard evidence.
Exactly. So they started DMing the actual attendees of the dinner, and they somehow managed to acquire photos of the cards that were tucked inside the Louis Vuitton gift envelopes from 5 different influencers.
And the contents of those envelopes fundamentally shifted the entire understanding of the brand's intent.
Yes. Every single card featured the exact same handwritten note, complete with a highly specific grammatical error. It read, and this is verbatim, "May this special gift accompany you on many wonderful journey ahead."
Singular journey.
Singular journey, exactly.
That level of uniformity, down to the replicated grammatical mistake across multiple cards, mechanically proves that these gifts were pre-prepared in bulk. They definitely weren't writing personalized notes right there at the table.
And the Reddit sleuths confirmed that even last-minute +1s who were added to the guest list that very afternoon received these exact pre-written cards.
Wow.
So that completely shatters the idea that Mitchie was purposefully excluded or deemed unworthy of the gift. The brand absolutely intended to give her one. They just completely botched the physical handoff. But the Reddit users noticed something else too.
Which was?
In Mitchie's massive, multi-part video series about the whole ordeal, she repeatedly waves the outside of her envelope at the camera, but she conveniently never shows the note inside.
Which introduces a whole new layer of manipulation to the narrative.
Right. So wait, if the internet proved the brand intended to give her a gift the entire time, and she potentially hid evidence of that good intent to build a better victim narrative, does that instantly vaporize our sympathy for her?
This raises an important question, and it reveals just how brutal a digital tribunal can be. When a creator brings a grievance to the internet's court of public opinion, they don't just put the brand on trial.
They put themselves on trial, too.
Exactly. They inadvertently submit their entire life history for an audit. The community began to weaponize Mitchie's own lore against her.
Oh yeah, the Reddit threads just started exhuming all this past drama. They brought up a time she allegedly resold Etsy templates. They dragged out some controversy where she charged $300 for private Zoom classes.
The Zoom classes. Right?
Yeah, and they even resurrected this old beef she had with a nail salon and another creator named Crystal. It was relentless.
Imagine if every time you complained about a frustrating meeting at work, your coworkers pulled up a decade's worth of your old emails to prove you were fundamentally an irritable person.
That sounds like a nightmare.
But that is exactly how the digital tribunal functions. It dismantles present credibility using past actions. Whether the physiological pain she felt at that dinner was real or not, the internet basically decided she didn't possess the moral purity required to deserve public empathy.
And so the narrative totally shifted away from the brand's horrible logistics and turned into an assassination of Mitchie's character. Which really makes me wonder, like, why on earth do brands even play this game? Why use these extreme luxury items as props if the risks of a logistical failure are this catastrophic?
Well, the answer lies in the semiotics of luxury. Cleardea wasn't just giving away a piece of leather. They were engaging in a semiotic performance.
A semiotic performance, meaning what exactly?
They were using the cultural weight of the Louis Vuitton logo to communicate something about their own brand's status. They wanted to associate themselves with that legacy.
Oh, I see. So what does this all mean? It's kind of like wearing a fake Rolex to a high-stakes job interview.
Well, it's a good comparison.
Right, like you aren't wearing it to check the time. You are trying to hack the interviewer's brain. You want them to subconsciously associate you with success and wealth and competence, even if your actual resume is thin. So Cleardea was trying to hack the audience's brain using Louis Vuitton's prestige.
That is a brilliant way to frame it. They are a startup K-beauty brand attempting to instantly graft the legacy of a European fashion house onto their own identity. But the Grazia article in our source stack provides a really sobering contrast to this.
What did they find?
It details the mechanics of an actual legacy luxury event. Specifically, the 2021 Louis Vuitton dinner hosted by Nicolas Ghesquière, which had A-listers like Miranda Kerr and Jaden Smith.
I imagine the logistics there don't involve tin boxes and creeping around in the dark.
Definitely not. Legacy houses operate with militant, obsessive precision. The hospitality isn't an afterthought, it is the core product.
That makes a lot of sense.
Smaller brands try to mimic the visual aesthetic of that exclusivity to create a halo effect, but they lack the operational infrastructure. This creates what sociologists call an execution gap.
And the execution gap is what exposed the fake Rolex, so to speak. If Cleardea had just been handing out standard lip gloss samples, a missing sample is just a harmless clerical error. You flag down a waiter, they say, oops, let me grab you one, and you move on.
Exactly.
But the promise of Louis Vuitton completely mutates the social stakes. It's like inviting people to a Michelin star restaurant but serving them on paper plates.
That is exactly it. The high intrinsic value of the item transforms a simple omission into a glaring statement of hierarchy. It instantly draws a harsh, visible line between the haves and the have-nots.
Wow.
In an industry where social proof is your primary currency, being physically and publicly excluded from the in-group's luxury moment is a direct threat to your professional viability.
Especially considering the context of the Asian American creator community, which these sources highlight. There are already immense systemic pressures to fight for visibility and respect in a Western-dominated market.
Right, there's a lot of added pressure there.
So to finally get a seat at an event designed to celebrate that specific community, only to be the lone person sidelined, I mean, regardless of tin boxes or clipboards, the psychological cut is deep.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this entire saga really illustrates a massive structural shift in industry power dynamics, the do we know them, touched on this, noting that brands are still operating under an outdated paradigm.
Which is?
They still view influencers as marketing assets, like human billboards that can just be bought with a fancy dinner.
But they aren't billboards. They are highly motivated critics holding the microphone.
Exactly. They possess the immediate digital infrastructure to essentially unionize their massive audiences against a corporation overnight.
That is a terrifying thought for a brand.
Oh, completely. When Cleardea hosted that dinner, they thought they were managing a promotional event. In reality, they were hosting 20 independent, highly reactive broadcast networks, all primed to report on any perceived slight to millions of viewers.
It completely flips the traditional script.
Yeah.
Brands used to hold absolute power because they held the purse strings and controlled all the access.
Yep.
If a magazine editor had a bad time at a dinner 10 years ago, maybe you get a grumpy email from a publicist. Today, if you drop the ball in logistics, you trigger a multi-part viral TikTok series, a forensic Reddit investigation dissecting the grammar of your thank you cards, and a permanent stain on your search engine results.
It forces an entirely new level of operational accountability.
Well,
If a brand wants to wield the weapon of luxury to signal exclusivity, their execution simply must be flawless.
there's no room for error.
None. You cannot purchase the prestige of Louis Vuitton without also adopting their rigorous, obsessive standards of hospitality. The execution gap is no longer just embarrassing, it's financially lethal.
Which leaves us with a truly fascinating thought to walk away with. We are clearly operating in an era where every single brand activation, every media dinner, and every PR package is a highly combustible landmine.
Absolutely.
The influencer industry has evolved so rapidly that we really have to ask who is actually steering the ship now. Is it the corporations who are funding the budgets and handing out the luxury bags? Or is it the creators holding the cameras, ready to act as the ultimate judge and jury the second they step out the door?
The social contract between brands and creators has never been more fragile, and as we've seen, it only takes one missing pouch to shatter it entirely.
We really want to hear your perspective on this dynamic, though. Have you ever experienced a situation where you were publicly left out of an in-group, maybe at work, in a friend group, or at a social event? And how did you navigate that emotional labor? Let us know down in the comments section.
The mechanics of social exclusion affect all of us, long before luxury handbags are ever introduced to the equation.
Definitely. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an analysis. Doing that actually tells the YouTube algorithm that you enjoy this kind of in-depth content, and it helps push our videos out to even more people who love pulling apart the mechanics of the internet just as much as you do.
It really makes a huge difference for us.
It does. So the next time you see a flawless, glamorous influencer dinner pop up on your feed, just remember the real story might be about who didn't get the goodie bag. See you next time.